Hi everyone, my name is Reese and I'm going to talk about the muted group theory today. Muted group theory was introduced by Chris Kromera. I'm pretty sure I pronounced it wrong, so don't mind it. And it focuses on how language is shaped by the dominant group in society, typically men, and how it affects marginalized groups, especially women. The theory says because the language was historically created in male dominated spaces, it often doesn't represent women's experiences accurately or at all. This results in women and other non dominant groups being muted, not because they can't speak, but because they don't have the same access to power within a language and communication systems. Learning this theory really hit home for me. I've definitely felt moments where I've struggled to express myself clearly in an academic or professional setting, and this theory helped me understand why. It also made me think about how some everyday experiences, like being talked over in meetings or not having the right words to explain certain frustrations, are part of a larger system that doesn't always give an equal voice to everyone. A personal example that came to mind is when I heard the term emotional labor for the first time. It finally gave me a language for something I had felt and done, especially in group projects or with friends, but I never knew how to explain. Muted group theory helped me understand that the reason I couldn't name it before is because that experience wasn't part of the dominant conversation. If most people understand this theory and applied it, especially in workplaces and classrooms, I think it would lead to more inclusive conversations. That means making space for everyone to speak, validating different ways of expressing ideas, and listening more intentionally to those who might not speak the loudest. You can research communication patterns in meetings or media, look at who gets heard, and track the voices who are ignored. There are studies that support this theory through content analysis, interviews, and observational data. The theory fits together logically and aligns well with feminist and critical cultural perspectives. It's clear in what it's arguing and what it hopes to reveal about communication. I think the theory is easy to understand in its basic form. The idea that dominant groups shape the language and others are left out is a clear and powerful concept. Applying it can be more complex, but the core idea itself is simple. This theory helps explain why some voices feel unheard, why new terms like mansplaining or gaslighting come into play, and how power structures influence everyday communication. It gives a real insight into the challenges people face in being understood and not being misunderstood. So, overall, the muted group theory gave me a lot to think about when it comes to power, language, and inclusion. It reminded me that communication isn't always equal and that we all have a role to play in creating spaces where every voice matters. Thank you for listening.